It's unbelievable.
Because we don't structurally modify the vehicle, the person retains complete resale value of their vehicle. So if they want, they can take all of our equipment out of the car and then resell it for fair market value as if they've never adapted the vehicle. If somebody doesn't want to modify a car up front or purchase the car really, they could lease a vehicle because we're not structurally changing it. So by doing it the way we've done it, we've provided a lot of different sort of cost-effective ways for the consumer to get their hands on this equipment that they might need. Another issue that we tried to tackle from an engineering perspective was we felt, and this sort of parlays with economics in the sense of, we don't think you should have to pay for anything more than what you need. And what I mean by that is if you look at, say, a structurally modified vehicle, it's all or nothing. You know, once you're cutting the chassis and you're putting in these ramps and everything else, that's it. You can't undo that or sort of halfway do that. For us, you know, there's a lot of people with, you know, physical limitations that don't happen all at once. These things, you don't wake up one day and just can't walk. I mean, in some cases you do, but it's not always the case. A lot of people have disabilities that progress over time.
My condition has deteriorated ever since 1987. It just got a little bit worse, a little bit worse, a little bit worse, a little bit worse. Up until 2 years ago, I could actually get in and out of the car that I drove because I had enough energy to be able to stand up at the end of the day and get into my car. But then there was a problem that I was concerned about driving because I was losing control of the pedals.
So our system, you know, let's say you have our lift platform in the rear of the vehicle. Suppose you could put your chair on there and you could make your way to the car and get into the car. So all you need to do is buy the lift. But then maybe, say you could still walk around the car, but now you need some assistance getting into the car yourself. So now you can add a seat and help yourself in. And then maybe your disability has gotten to the point where now you need full automation. You can't make that trip between the back of the car and the front of the car. So then you can just add on our automation package, and now your chair can you know, solve that piece that you can't yourself. So it sort of builds with you as your disability requires more attention. You know, this was another engineering facet we looked at when we were building this thing. We talk about cost, we talk about safety, we talk about modular building blocks, we talk about no structural modifications. But you know, you go out there and you talk to the general public, it's a lot simpler than that sometimes. You know, when I go shopping for a car, you know, what it comes down to is choice. I want it to look nice, I want it to feel nice, and I want to pick what I want. And with ATRS, you know, people get that choice. Structurally modified vans are exactly what they sound like. You're either in a full-size van, or you're in a minivan. And of the universe of, say, minivans that are out there, there's only a few platforms that can get modified the way that they're done.
So when they showed me what they could do, they can put them in SUVs, they can put them in pickup trucks. I was really excited.
With ATRS, you now can get into what we consider more mainstream vehicles. You can get into SUVs, you can get into pickup trucks, you can get into some crossovers, you can get into cars that you or I would drive every day as somebody that's not in a wheelchair. People get to pick and choose, and people like that. You look at our Freedom seat, we don't put an aftermarket seat on our mechanism by default. Of course, if you want one, sure, we can provide one. But we integrate with the OEM factory seat because you want your car to look the same. You don't want somebody to get in the car and be like, oh, this is clearly a handicap mobile. No, you want them to say, wow, I love the leather seats, and you know, it just looks great. And that, again, ATRS provides that for people. And this wasn't an afterthought for us. This was all up front. We care about that because people care about that. And so this was another engineering design constraint that we had.
I think if anyone is considering whether this system is viable, whether it would be important to people that need it, I challenge them to get in a wheelchair for a week and go around in a wheelchair and see what they have to do in order to be able to get around and function. There's always going to be somebody that is going to have to help them in some particular instance.
The benefits of the system, or the product itself, yeah, there's this control system that goes on a chair and it sort of makes it, you know, robotic, and then there's this cool lift in the back, and it brings the thing in and out, and your seat mechanism, and you know, these are things. They're great things, but we're not selling things. We're selling a lifestyle. We're selling independence. We're selling freedom. So it's not about give me the robot chair. It's about give me the opportunity to drive a lifted truck, a Chevy Suburban, you know, without it being low to the ground, and let me drive it and let me take it off-road and let me do whatever I would want to do as a free, independent individual. And don't make me rely on somebody to be able to do that either. You know, I want to do it myself. I face enough obstacles every single day in my life. The things I can control, let me control them. And at Freedom Sciences, we believe you control your independence when getting in and out of your car.